What's up, guys? This is Ryan Jones with ILoveBasketballTV. Today we're going to be going over 5 moves that pretty much everyone can do. And at the end, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a bonus move as well that's pretty advanced, and it absolutely kills defenders. So before we get into these moves, it's even more important that you guys understand when and actually how to use these against defenders. So when you're approaching your defender here, usually you're going to have a top and a back foot. So the foot that's higher up is going to be the top foot. So all 5 of these moves are going to help you be able to get over the top foot, whether you're leaning him to the back side to get him to bite, or whether you're using deception as your advantage to get over this top foot. But anytime you can get over this top foot here and you're coming downhill, I'm gonna have to turn and drop this foot, open up, and then crossover step and run with you. And that just takes way too long when the offensive player is going full speed downhill. So if you guys can master these 2 things that I'm about to explain, nobody can stay in front of you. So with all 5 of these moves, we're trying to execute one of these 2 things. When I have my top foot here, either way, we're trying to go over the top foot, but it's bulletproof. It'll work every single time. If I can get him leaning or stepping to the back foot first and then cross over back over the top foot, it's going to be impossible for him to step and then open up and stay in front of you. Works every single time. The second one is we're not always going to be able to get him in that position, so we want to be a little deceptive and use change of speeds to go ahead and get over that top foot. So if I'm here and you can do some sort of misdirection or some sort of like change in body language to make him relax and then burst over this top foot, you're going to be able to beat him with that first step every single time. All right, so let's get into our first move, which is going to be the crossover. So a few keys for this. Obviously, we're crossing the ball over here right in front. We're going to go right to left in this scenario. But with this defender, we got to make sure that this ball is low and wide, and we're also not too close to him where you can go ahead and tap this ball and go around. All right, so now doing my crossover here as I'm approaching my defender. When I do a crossover, it's got to look exactly like my straight line drive. So in order to do that, I want you to push hard off this back leg and lean and get all your weight to this front leg and sell everything with your eyes and your body weight shifting right before you cross over. So push off hard and then cross back over and turn that corner. So as you see my defender's feet here, this is his top foot. And now I'm gonna go ahead and reveal the first key. So when I do my crossover here, what's gonna make it work every single time is when I push hard off this back leg and sell everything right, if you can get him leaning to that back foot or step into the back foot first, now when I cross over the top foot, he's gonna have to step and then turn and open, and that's gonna take way too long. He's dead in water, you're gonna be right at the rim. So now we're gonna get into our in and out dribble. I absolutely love this move, and it's really, really good in transition because the defender's feet are already moving. So to stay consistent here and trying to get over the top foot, I'm gonna go ahead and do this with my left hand this time. So I'm gonna start up here, and I'm gonna push that ball back to the middle of my frame like I'm crossing the ball over, and then in and out. And same thing here, if you do a good job selling this bait with the first part of your in and out, he should step to that back foot, and then you're right over the top around that top foot. So the key to having a great in and out dribble here is you want it to look more like an over the top push cross. So instead of a low wide cross here, if I do a push cross over the top, I'm gonna turn that shoulder. So when I do my in and out, I want it to look the same. Over the top, push cross, get those shoulder turned the other way, and then come back the other side. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into our between the legs, where we're gonna add a little wrinkle so we can execute on one of those keys and get him leaning toward that back foot. So it's gonna be an anchor between the legs. I'll start the ball with my right hand here. I'm gonna go ahead and push the ball and my foot out here. It's not gonna be an in and out, but just to push the ball to get it outside of my frame and get him leaning toward that back foot. And from there, once I push it out and step, I anchor this foot and go right into a between and then around over the top foot. So now I'm gonna go over one more move before we get into that 5th move, where I'm also revealing the second huge key to help you get by anybody at any time. And then also stay tuned because remember, we got that bonus advanced move at the very end. So this 4th move is gonna be our cross jab, and we're still trying to execute the same thing, get him leaning toward that back foot so I can cross back over the top foot. So John Morant is really, really good at this. Go ahead and watch his highlights. He executes it perfectly from game to game. I'm gonna start with the ball in my right hand here, and I'm gonna go ahead and cross the ball over and try to wait a split second, let it hit your left hand first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jab my right foot and lean and look the opposite way, so it's kind of a misdirection. So I'm here, cross the ball over, jab the opposite way, and then I can burst straight left now. So now for the 5th move, we're gonna go ahead and learn how to do a delayed between the legs. And this is gonna touch on our second major key, where we're learning how to use deception and change the speeds to blow by over that top foot. So I'm gonna approach my defender with the ball in the right hand. Let's make sure we get close enough here so that my first step with the back foot can get all the way around him. But to start here, I'm trying to get over this top foot, but I gotta be slow and deceptive and kind of lull him to sleep so I can burst over that top foot immediately. So I start here, I'm gonna go between the legs. I'm just gonna kind of drop the ball and let it fall into this stance. And then I'm gonna do a little twitch back to the back leg and then push off that back leg after I load it and burst left. So it's key here to not speed up through this between the legs, be really slow and let that ball hit your left hand before you decide to do your little twitch and burst over that top foot. So now for the sixth and the bonus move of the day, it's gonna be our misdirection between the legs. So it's very similar to the cross jab, but just a little bit different. So me personally, I like to do my misdirection, getting him to drop the top foot in this scenario this time. So I'm gonna approach him with my left hand here. I'm gonna go ahead and go between the legs, and then I'm gonna jab with this back foot and lean hard and kind of just like fall into it and sell this way with my eyes. He's about pretty much guaranteed to go ahead and bite and drop that foot, and then I'm gonna burst right.